Welcome into another Jackson Sun, Rural West Tennessee local high school sports podcast here on jacksonsun.com. I am high school sports columnist Brandon Shields. I'm a sports writer. Brandon Shields with another sports writer, Michael Odom. One reports, the other one writes columns, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, but last week we kind of talked about Michael, as we're getting into the basketball postseason. We were talking about how excited you were getting into district tournaments. Well, I now join you in that excitement as we're past the district tournaments and into the actual postseason.
No, last week was postseason.
Okay, whatever.
Tournaments, baby. Trophies. It's all about the trophies.
It is for you, apparently.
It's all about the bling.
Yeah, Michael is all about the participation, apparently. Anyways, the teams that are still playing earned their way. Most of them earned their way to get there. I guess there were a few 4-team districts where everybody knew that they were going to be in there anyways. But one way or another, we're down to 64 teams in each Division I class. I guess we're just down to 8 teams in Division II. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Just kind of breaking down the region tournaments for girls basketball in rural West Tennessee. We're recording this on Thursday afternoon. So let's just go ahead and get into the games that are going to be starting before everybody else, Region 7A. And just looking at how District 13A is going this year and how 14A is going this year, this is going to be a fun tournament to watch.
Oh, I mean, there's I think 6 really good teams in this tournament, and that's going to lead to some really good ball games. When you've got Gibson County, Dresden, Gleason, Greenfield, Huntington. I mean, there's just a lot of good teams.
And we're already getting into the part where starting with these first 2 rounds, it's win or go home. Then you have one more round of essentially pool play, figuring out who's going to host who for the sectional round. Then after that, it's a 16-team single elimination tournament. At this point, I mean, you've been around watching basketball for like nearly 35 years now. Not as a professional reporter for 35 years. But
thanks. I think you just called me old.
Well, I'm older than you, so. But, I mean, you've been around West Tennessee basketball a lot longer, keeping up with it a lot longer than I have been. I've been around for nearly a decade. So how much does everybody pick their level of intensity up for this point in the season when it is we got to win or we're going home?
Teams are going to have to play their best. I mean, you're not going to advance and have an off game. Southside's shown that the past 2 years in this round. They've had some off games and not advanced when they should have. So you're going to look at it and, this Gleason Peabody game, they played earlier in the season, but I think they're going to bring some new stuff when they play Thursday night. It's going to be a totally different look. I'm sure that Coach Sean Stevenson at Gleason is going to throw some new stuff offensively, maybe some stuff that Michael Hart hasn't seen yet, that he doesn't, have a defense ready for. And so teams are gonna be very hyped to play in these games.
That'll be the game that I'm covering tonight up in Trenton. You're going to the one in Dresden. Gibson County on the road for this this round of the tournament at Dresden. Gibson County, they had a tougher time in the district tournament than what I thought they would.
I just think that's the level of competition this year in that district. I mean, there were 6 teams that were really good. I mean, you look at Humboldt, how much they improved from last year to this year, and that just showed that, from 1 to 6, any of those 6 could have went on a run here in the tournament.
I covered the game in January when Peabody beat Gibson County for like the second time in 47 years or something like that. And I guess them beating them again in the district tournament showed that night wasn't a fluke.
No, Peabody is really started to peak in the season, and they're playing really well.
All right, well, moving on to the other single A tournament going on. District 15A, Region 8A, which pits District 15A with District 16A. First off, because it is District 16, that's in Shelby County, For those listening who may not be as familiar with those teams, who are those that are coming over to play the teams from 15A?
The number 1 seed over there is Mitchell, and they are hosting Scotts Hill. Mitchell was ranked in the state all year, so they're very good. The number 2 is Booker T. Washington. That's where they were last year. TCA went there last year. This year it's Riverside going there. The number 3 is Power Center Academy, and they'll be traveling up to TCA Friday night. And then the number 4 seed from down there is Memphis Business Academy, and they will be coming up to Middleton.
So that was MBA.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, because I saw somebody tweeting Middleton will be playing MBA. I was like, Montgomery Bell?
Yeah, there's now 2. There's Montgomery Bell Academy, which is the big D2 private school.
Right, and it's a boys-only school, too, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so.
and then you've got Memphis Business Academy out of Memphis. That's a smaller single-A school.
I know you said Mitchell has been ranked all year or a lot of the season. There have been years where District 15A has swept this this round. How
Last
possible
year.
is that? Yeah. Well, I was going to say more times than not recently it's happened. How possible is it that trend continues?
I think that Middleton, TCA, and Riverside all go into their games favored to win. Mm-hmm. The key is going to be Scotts Hill at Mitchell. This was the matchup last year that finished off the sweep. Scotts Hill won it by 2. Can Scotts Hill go down to Mitchell? And, it's going to be about setting the tone. Can Scotts Hill slow the ball down, make the game ugly like they want to, or is Mitchell going to be able to kind of push the ball a little more? If they allow Scotts Hill to slow it down, then I think Scotts Hill has a good chance to finish off the sweep.
I know, just judging from the stats that Coach sends in for Scotts Hill each week, they've got the players to put themselves in good position for that. But I think just about everybody around here knows that no matter what sport it is, but particularly basketball, going to Memphis is always, and coming out with a win is always easier said than done. And getting back to 7A real quick and 8A as well, quarterfinals are always at the higher seed, played at the higher seed. The semifinals and finals will be played at Greenfield for 7A, is that right?
No, Bethel.
Bethel, okay. That's right, yeah, it's 2017, my bad. All right, and so I was told Jackson Christian will be hosting the 8A region. Why, is that just a neutral, kind of a central point between?
Yeah, they had to make a central location.
They had to make a central location?
Yeah, that's what I was told by Matt Coble, is that it had to be at a central location.
Okay.
Like they couldn't keep it at Riverside.
Okay. Well, it wasn't at a central location last year at Memphis Northside.
That's just
all right, we'll move on.
That's a discussion for another day.
Yeah. We'll invite Bernard Childers from the TSSAA to talk about that one day. So, AA. Region 7 AA will be an interesting one.
Tough.
Yes. We've got an undefeated team in that tournament. We've got
4-time state tournament appearance per team in Westview.
Right, and Southside being the undefeated team. So just kind of give us the matchups and break this tournament down real quick for us.
I mean, that's probably that and 7A are probably the 2 most exciting tournaments. You've got South Gibson at Southside. South Gibson made sectionals last year. Bolivar at Westview. You've got Chester County at Crockett County. Those 2 split during the regular season. And then you've got Dyersburg at Lexington. And I think, Dyersburg might be playing as well as anybody right now after they lost their point guard. They've put some wins together. They almost beat Westview in the district semifinals. I think they're playing well. Lexington is definitely, their younger players are starting to improve, and I think that could be one of the top matchups in the first round.
Oh, the Bolivar-Westview matchup just looks like, like Southside with its undefeated record, and Westview is going to get a lot of the attention, like you just said, with its, they're going for their 5th straight state appearance. But Bolivar, they've been kind of they're the team that's come closest this year to knocking Southside off, pushing them to the very end in Jackson. is it too much to think that they could be pushing Westview the same way?
They're going to have to play better than they have in the district tournament. They did not really show up in either game and did not perform well. So they're going to have to play better if they're going to try and beat a team like Westview on their home floor.
You really give Lexington much of a shot to do anything in this tournament?
I think Lexington could. They have the potential. But, these are 8 good teams. I mean, there's nothing that's given.
No, that was a inside joke. Lexington's really good, and they could definitely compete for this championship, or at least making it to the sectional. The Region 8 AA tournament. Haywood has been kind of the dominant team in in District 15 AA. What's coming out of 16 AA?
From what I've been told, it's not as strong as it has been in years past. Haywood will be hosting Sheffield in the first round. Then you'll have Liberty hosting Craigmont. You'll have Covington going to... I know Tresden's one of the better teams coming out of there. But I mean, Haywood is definitely the favorite.
Right. So they're the favorite among all 8 teams, not just the 4 from this side.
Oh, yeah. This is another one that I think there's the potential for a sweep. Covington's at Raleigh, Egypt, and then Ripley's at Tresvent.
No offense to 15 AA, but if they have a shot at sweeping a district, I mean, that says a lot about 16 AA. I mean, I'm just saying, I saw Haywood and Ripley a couple of weeks ago play, and, I mean, Haywood was obviously the better team, and they are a team that's good enough to compete for a spot in state, no matter what district they'd be in. But, I mean, what is the problem? And I know this isn't a new thing. I mean, Northside made it to a AAA sectional 2 years in a row a few years ago, and no offense to those girls, they had no business playing for a shot in the state tournament.
It's just on how the districts are drawn out.
Yeah.
You have that in different sports also. But, I mean, I think Tresvent's probably the best coming out of there. They got a really good player. I think they'll beat Ripley to prevent the sweep. Mm-hmm. But I think Haywood, Covington, and Liberty could all sweep.
All right, a couple minutes before we got to get out of here. Real quick, Hardin County is going to
Bartlett
in the Region 8 AAA tournament. I'm
7
guessing
AAA.
Or 7. Okay, yeah, I can't do math. Brighton and Dyer County and Munford are who are the top 2 that are hosting?
Munford and Dyer County are both hosting.
Okay, and then Brighton will be on the road.
Yeah,
down in Shelby County. Also, it's not just region tournaments going on for girls basketball this weekend, as USJ is essentially in a state quarterfinal game on Friday night at home.
Yeah, I mean, this is their first time to host a sub-state game in D2. They've always had to go on the road when they've made it. This is their chance to make history and make the state semifinals. It'll be the first time since 2005 that this program's made the state semis. Anna Jones will be playing her last home game on her home floor. So this is a big game for USJ to try and make the state semifinals.
And I wrote last week after I covered them in the region quarterfinals last week just how dominant they've been in Division II Single A West. Since the Christmas break, since they started playing district ball, they were averaging 48.5 points per win. That was their point differential. Obviously, the competition gets tougher. What's the chances of them going ahead and continuing riding that momentum, getting into state?
I mean, FRA's got a really good player. I think one that was talked about when Miss Basketball was brought up. But all 3 came from the West. So, I mean, as long as they can contain her, I think that USJ has a good shot.
They do have a good shot. I mean, with Anna Jones there, it's hard to say they don't have a shot. But if they win that game, they get a week off and then play in the state semifinals at Lipscomb next week. Good luck to them and good luck to your teams.